BPerfect have just launched a new collaboration with Louise McDonnell, which I think is quite smart because they've done this before. I believe they had like a liquid lipstick with her, but they definitely had a palette as well. So they are obviously gauging that it got a lot of attention before. Now this palette, it's both an eyeshadow palette and there's a sort of a face palette here. It's very in keeping with her aesthetic. It's very true to her, so I totally respect that. It's available now for €39.95. A massive thank you to Makeup on Your Radar for the information on this. Let's have a little chat. Now, what I will say is I don't like that this is limited edition. I always kind of feel a bit, when something is limited edition because it makes a lot of people kind of do the FOMO. And by a lot of people, I mean me. However, this colour story isn't necessarily for me because I can dupe it out. However, I like BPerfect's formula, so if you like this, you'll probably enjoy it. If we look at the eyeshadow component first, it has a good mix of like light and dark in there. Quite like that lilac-y shade in there, and I like the sort of shimmery foils that they have in there. However, I feel like for a lot of people, this is probably too light and they wouldn't get great use out of the first row, and maybe it'd just be the bottom two rows that would work for them, and that would be a bit of a pity. It's not wildly expensive, it's only €39.95, but that is still a lot of money to a lot of people. And the swatches do look very pretty. I feel like this is kind of perfect for this time of year. It's very kind of wintry with little aspects of autumn in here as well. I appreciate that they've a very light shade in here as well that you could blend stuff out with. So actually very smart. And then the face palette, I mean, I will say whatever way they've kind of pictured this, it has kind of frustrated me because the top two shades almost look like they're the same, but they're not when you see them swatched. My frustration with this, anytime that you kind of combine an eyeshadow palette with a face palette, is you're kind of cutting off a whole chunk of an audience, because some people may love the eyeshadow palette but the face palette may not work for them, or vice versa. So I kind of always feel like when you're doing stuff like that, maybe either A, do them separately, have a face palette separate to an eyeshadow palette, or B, come out with maybe 3 or 4 versions that is going to fit like a couple of different skin tones. And do you see what I mean about like whatever way they had pictured it? They do look quite different, those top two shades, Chalk Whip and Biscoff. Like one is much deeper than the other. I think I could use Chalk Whip as a nice sort of a bronzer for me. It'd look very, very pretty. I love that shade Peachin' as well. I think it's absolutely stunning. Like it definitely is. And when you see them kind of together, they do complement each other quite nicely. I feel like whenever you have those like neutrally berry tones on your eyes, a peachy look is absolutely stunning. But for me, again, I think they've kind of cut off a certain amount of their demographic by doing this. And maybe it's just me, but I don't like combi palettes. I don't know what to do with them. I don't know where to put them. I also don't like flipping palettes backwards and forwards to kind of open and close them and get from one part to another bit. But I think there is obviously like a demographic out here that really enjoys this. And it's not a bad price at all. I can see a lot of people getting some great use out of this. This is another one that just isn't for me, and again, that's totally fine. But I do like BPerfect's formula, and I feel like they're really great for the price. Plus, they're an Irish brand, so like, they kind of get my heart anyways. And again, appreciate that they're kind of like redoing collaborations with people. It's really a great sign when you see that a brand is like revisiting collaborations with people, and that those people are willing to do a collaboration with them again, because it shows that they obviously have a really good professional working relationship. Great sign for us as consumers, because it means like they're treating their people well, which I like to see. Now this isn't for me, totally fine. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like this? Do you think it's interesting, or are you just like, it might make a good gift? Because I'm kind of the opinion that it would make a nice gift for somebody who's totally cool with those combi palettes, but it's not for me. Let me know down below what your thoughts are.